I think next year is going to be the limit.
Beyond that, and be aware that in the closed zone, there is still ample space. It's trying to cut costs.
The fact that they're doing this now, the fact that they are considering releasing this treated radioactive water into the Pacific Ocean has many people alarmed. Why would they dump radioactive water into the Pacific Ocean?
There are two kinds of names to call the water. One is to call it contaminated, another treated. The fact of the matter is, it is a vast amount of treated water, no longer contaminated, because there is an arrangement and a system called ALPS, that is Advanced Liquid Processing System. The only remaining radioactive material is tritium.
This is a kind of newspeak. Yes, the water is treated, but the system that is treating it, the ALPS system, is not as effective as it was hoped to be many years ago when they started using it. And the water that we're talking about is still contaminated. It still has traces of strontium-90 and other isotopes where ALPS has not been able to function optimally.
Why are the government considering releasing it into the Pacific Ocean if they do have other options?
Well, it is the easiest way, and given the huge amount of treated water, I think it is the swift and easiest way.
The crucial words that we just have heard was swift and easy. That is what TEPCO and the Japanese government would like to do. They want to get rid of this problem swift and easy so that everybody will forget about it. Especially these attempts have been going on already for a long time. We've seen attempts to make Fukushima, trying to make Fukushima go away, for instance, in the run-up to the Olympic Games. There's no problem at all in storing more water over time and continuing to search for better ways to treat this water, and at a certain moment get this water treated to a way that it fulfills the criteria before it is then released into, for instance, the ocean. But at this moment, what we see is indeed swift and easy. We see pressure on the whole system, not for scientific reasons, but simply for economic reasons.
Your government hasn't got the confidence of the people because of things that have happened in the past. Do you think the government will be able to push this through if that's the path it decides to go down?
Truly, it is a matter of perception, not a matter of science. Perception sometimes does matter than anything else. When it comes to scientific evidence, a huge amount of evidence has already been there, in the sense that fish stocks that fishing community near Fukushima Daiichi relies upon is not contaminated. So the complaints and worries, understandably, for the fishing community around the power plant are much to do with the perception. And they are telling the Japanese government to do more on the perception.
I just want to make one remark about the science here. There is no clarity about the amount of radioactive substances that is still remaining in the 1.2 million tons that TEPCO wants to emit into the ocean. They also are going to take 2 more years to prepare for that. So we even don't know exactly what the situation will be by then. But what we do know is that the government, with its blunt certainty and lack of wanting to talk about uncertainties, for years already has been saying, we can do this, we are doing this. And every time again, it appeared again that the ALPS system, for instance, was not performing to what it needed to do. So those are the doubts that we have and that we see all around us are justified.
They have already built nearly 1,000 tanks, and on site in the plant, there is very little room physically left for them to continue to build tanks. And I think 2021, I think next year, is going to be the limit, which is why the sense of urgency has kicked in.
Of course, the amount of space on site is limited and is slowly getting full. To go beyond that and be aware that in the closed zone there is still ample space, but that will cost, and it comes to a cost. The reason why TEPCO wants to continue with this is a question of cost. It's trying to cut costs.
Why is this under consideration and not the vaporization plan? Is the vaporization plan much more expensive?
Of course, it's going to be much, much more expensive, and it'll take much, much more time.
Now, as I understand it, it's not just TEPCO. This has to be the Japanese government as well. They have to take much more responsibility than they have done. Is that right?
Certainly, it is, in the first place, TEPCO's responsibility. Building those massive number of tanks has come from the shrinking profit of TEPCO. So long as TEPCO could carry on, it is TEPCO's responsibility.
Would you eat Japanese fish after that happens?
Certainly, I would rather drink that water myself.
Jan Haverkamp, you were shaking your head there. You're not going to eat any Japanese seafood if this happens?
I'm vegetarian and I don't eat fish.